these look crazy.
Everywhere.
Oh, sorry.
It's still spraying. Jeez.
Those things? What was? I got it. It was at your studio.
Wait, they're wild or what?
No, they always explode.
Oh.
But what are they?
It's just a lot of B12. It's like a crazy.
I got it for free because I was using it at the studios in LA, and I wrote them, and they said, "Here's
That
free."
means you definitely didn't get it for free.
Oh.
But what is B12? There are.
It's a lot.
Welcome our new sponsor. What did you think?
It's an intense flavor. It's good though.
Is it good?
Yeah.
You said, "Oh."
Perk the fuck up. It's. I don't.
You take that
Taste-
schmutz off. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross.
Ugh.
I don't want to look at that.
Welcome to the downside. I'm chewing gum. Can you take this?
No.
Welcome to the downside. My name's Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host Russell One Stop Away Daniels.
Yeah. Listen, your problem is not with me. It's with the MTA. I leave every day at the same time and still allow 10 to 15 minutes to get here early, and I'm always 1 to 5 minutes late.
It's so precise. That's the frustrating part.
Well,
because if
in
it
my
was all
mind-
over the place, I go, well, it's chaos.
But in
You
my
can only
mind,
do so
it's
much.
like I can only give an hour and 15 minutes to this commute. If it's more than that's out of my hands. That's too long to be commuting. You know what I mean? Like I'm leaving by 2:15.
How are you throwing this problem to me?
Because I'm saying the MTA says 51 minutes. I allow an hour and 15. That's a 25-minute window. So when it takes longer, and it does, then that's not on me. It's not on you either. It's just on what it is.
If there's any
I
casting
cannot leave my apartment at 2 for a 3:30 down in the same city. It
If
feels
there's any
crazy.
casting directors, producers, just know if you're hiring Russell Daniels, he can't promise to be there at a time.
Yeah.
I am here with our guest. Actually, I've decided to do less research for this podcast. I keep getting complaints about doing too much research. So, what's your name?
What a good way to get out of trying to pronounce my shit.
Malik Elassal.
Very good, actually.
I
Yeah,
know your
no,
name.
Okay.
I know your name.
No, that's good. That's good.
All right, I'm gonna throw this out there. We don't have to do it.
I gotta take the cans off. I gotta take the cans
Oh yeah,
off.
we're loud.
You guys are yelling.
Oh, we could turn it down.
You guys are
Sorry.
screaming.
Yeah.
I've just been
I
getting
like
lit
it. It's
up.
comforting.
You looked very uncomfortable when I said, "Oh, this early in the show." We hope you get uncomfortable
I
by
was
the end.
trying to figure out if I could do a one of the cans off, one.
Yeah, he's
on,
loud.
trying
You
to-
came in. You said, "I'm so excited to put." We turned it down. We could turn it down
I'm
even
excited
more.
to put the cans on. And let me try again.
We'll turn
yeah.
the cans down.
Is that a Canadian thing? Cans? I've never said the word cans this much.
Me
in my
either.
life.
I think it's a
Fun,
Joe
though.
Rogan thing. I thought.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I thought.
Good to know what kind of episode we got in store. So, what do you think of the vaccine? Okay, so we don't have to do this. What Russell's putting his foot on. I'm doing I have to film a new promo video, and my idea. It's called the Leaning In Tour, and this is the third leg of the Leaning In Tour.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like a dick?
Come on
Like
now.
a dick. Come on now. So, what I want to do for the promo video for the listeners, you get a little preview, a little spoiler alert. I'm gonna be at a gym. I'm like looking good,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing. It starts close up on my face, and you see I pull back. I'm working on my lean, just my lean, but I'm wearing like the bar and the weights.
Mhm.
And then every time I lean, though, little bit of that third leg shows the penis,
Yeah.
and I blur it out. So it's just like, and then it pulls back and it goes the third leg.
So what gym are you filming this in that you're going to...
Well, I got to figure that out. I'm going to talk to my trainer and say, hey, can we book a session?
Yeah.
And,
Oh, my God.
But it's a CrossFit gym. There's no other people there. We'll do it late at night.
Sure, there's a lot of space, but I have another question. What are you going to use as the penis material?
I'm glad you brought that up. So in that box is,
Oh.
Wait, you're faking it? You're not using your own dick?
can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't think their shorts short enough. I've looked high and low.
I don't have the budget for a special
I
effects
love
team.
imagining you trying out shorts and also like filming it to be like, can I see that? Nope, can't see that. Got to go higher and higher.
Nah, that's not going to play at all.
So you got what? What is in
Can
here?
I pull out what's in this
Please.
box? You're
please.
sure?
Yes.
Okay. Now there's also like books for
Oh.
Tova. So like I just went to UPS to pick it up. God, I hope it's in here.
Oh,
We'll see if it's good enough. I'm sorry to my editor for having to blur this.
I see.
Okay, there are books.
There are books.
Wait, what books?
Subculture Vulture, Moshe Kasher is doing our podcast soon.
Very nice.
Is this it?
That's a travel pillow.
Is this
I
it?
got a feeling.
Let me see what's going on over here.
Can
we get it?
Come on, baby. Oh, is it? All right. All right.
God.
Pack it heavy. Doc Johnson, pack it
A
heavy.
realistic dildo for packing. Wait, so should we pull it out?
Sure.
Can I just
There
see
you
the
go.
box?
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my God.
So now, in theory, I have to figure out a way to tape this. And first of all, I also don't want it to be too big. I'm not trying to brag in the promo,
Right.
spread misinformation.
You're trying to make it seem real.
Yeah, I want it to be like,
I mean, it's almost like you should make it too big so that people are like, well, obviously.
Yeah.
This is like you're trying to fake having just a regular sized penis.
Wait. We gotta pull it out.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
oh man,
Oh my God.
oh wow,
Oh, it's
Soft.
soft.
even.
yeah. It wasn't gonna be a.
Also, what's this color? Why did you not go with white?
Are there
person?
options? That was white.
This doesn't look that white.
I think it'll.
Look at your
put it up
skin.
against your arm.
Look
I
at
think
your
it can-
skin.
Nah, I think it'll play.
Okay, well, compared to the real thing,
But wait, I'm confused. So,
what are you confused about?
What about this doesn't make any sense to you?
yeah. So you're just putting that in your pants.
So it would be.
So
So here's the pan, and then when I do the lean, it's just
Okay, I see. But you're gonna blur it out.
yeah. But you know how?
So why do any of this?
Because we've all seen comedians
much
when
do-
they put blur over like a bra, and you can tell it's a bra.
How much did you spend on that?
Surprisingly, not that much.
Really?
I was
Surprisingly.
ready. I was ready, if I'm being honest, to go into the hundreds. But this was
yeah, but this you could have just blurred over truly anything. I think it would have been fine.
Then what do you do? What do you?
It's just please don't fight over it either.
What do you? After this is done, what happens to it? You just leave it around to
well,
the next photo
we have
shoot.
a new tier of the Patreon where you can get your own town. This could be a merch.
You could sign it.
I could sign it. I mean, fuck! I signed my full name on this monster.
Yeah.
It says it comes with refresh powder.
Refresh powder.
There's a powder.
I mean, no one's using this for.
There's a cornstarch mix that it's somewhere in there. They're like, if you're gonna put
Smells
it.
good.
Ah.
You know, smell-
No, I believe you.
well, that's what I'm gonna do.
Well,
So-
I'm glad it worked out.
When this promo gets 43 views on Instagram, you can tell your friends. I know the behind the scenes of how that
That's
got.
not his real.
That's
blurred
not his real
pic.
penis. This is the downside.
1, 2,
Jordan.
3. Downside.
Crazy.
Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco
Chris, I
Soresi.
forgot to ask were you comfortable with what just happened?
I'm going directly to non-existent HR.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
I
should have thought about that before you just pulled out a.
can we in post add a you consenting earlier?
Oh yeah, to people who are tuning in.
We'll add consent in post.
Yeah.
You're not gonna blur it in the podcast though.
I think on YouTube,
You have
but
to.
if you join the Patreon, if you have been like, do I join the Patreon? Well, let me tell you, we just pushed you over the line.
Yeah.
Boy, do we have a regular sized penis. To show
Boy, do we
you.
have a flaccid penis to show you.
Malik, you probably can't tell. Tova, she always wants me to wear looser clothing.
Yes.
And you know the name that comes up every time?
Malik.
She says Malik. She says you got to dress like Malik. Malik does. And I'm currently wearing these pants.
Stand up.
Oh yeah, wait, actually stand up. Yeah.
We got them on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I got them recently. I didn't like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I like these a
they
lot.
are looser.
It's a nice material as well. What is that? Where did you get these?
Russell, check the back.
Where?
You got
Maybe wear. You have a
fold
look at
over
pants. I can't
Oh, I
do it.
see.
Let me see. I can see.
Okay, Jesus Christ. Very intimate episode. Whoop, what's that?
No tag even. That's how you know they're nice.
Damn.
You don't even see a tag on that? That's nice.
I mean, they were not.
Did you send out for him? You bought him in a store.
We went shopping. Tova's been pushing for this.
Yeah.
Tova's been pushing for it.
I've heard about it. She sent me texts.
Yeah, and
Like, we need your help.
But I said to Tova, here's my fear.
What?
You're younger than me.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a younger thing.
But the whole thing is to dress older. That's kind of, I feel like the move with the wearing the baggier thing is to kind of,
Sure.
to me, it feels like it's a little like of an older, it's a little bit more distinguished, I feel, to wear just like a relaxed garment.
How old do you think he is? Because I don't know.
20-something, 20.
What the fuck answer is that?
7, 28.
I'm 27.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I'm 27 years old. Yeah, and they're quite big pants, I'd say, but you know.
Because no one, I grew up in the era of the skinny jean.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I worked so hard. I did a roast battle way back early, and one of the judges said something about where's his ass, and it was like the start of a training montage in my head. Cut to me squatting,
Yeah.
weights, and I finally got an ass. And then I date this woman, and she says, "Wear a bag on your fucking waist instead of tight pants." No one wants tight pants anymore. What happened?
See, the thing was nobody ever asked me that question, where's this guy's ass?
Yeah.
I always had a very prominent ass and thigh. I was never able to even wear skinny jeans at all, so I just never even tried
Sure.
to do it. And I just wore a school uniform at school, so I was just like, there wasn't much to think about.
What uniform were you wearing?
Black dress pants,
Really?
Button down?
button down,
Sweater?
cardigan,
Cardigan.
black cardigan,
You have to do tie?
All black.
Tie or no?
white shirt, black cardigan.
That's
No tie.
severe. That's a severe. I didn't have any. I went to a school. You called teacher by the first name. You wore whatever. I was goth.
This Quaker?
I was wearing loose pants.
Quaker.
No, DC, pot.
I don't even know what Quaker means.
pot.
actually.
What are you talking about?
It was known as like the drug school in DC, private school, DC, liberal.
That's every private
Obviously,
Uh-huh.
I was wearing loose pants because I was goth and I had chains and I had.
Wait, you were goth and you wore loose pants?
Yeah. Was that do goth wears tight pants?
Right?
Maybe in Canada.
I think no goth in our upbringing
culture.
in our culture growing up, it was big pants for goths.
Oh, like Janko.
Janko, yes,
Oh, I see.
yes,
Okay, I think at
Painted
some point a
jeans.
goth made a switch.
Sure.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
It was kind of a punk thing. A little later on was those skinny jeans were big for them in like 2005 to 10.
Yeah, the skinny jeans and the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, yes,
Sleeves and yeah.
But now I feel like goth could even be your school uniform. Frankly, kind of a.
Goth is like the kids who hang around here, the Fashion Week kids. Those kids who hang around, they all just wear like just huge blood. They dress like vampires.
Yes, yes. I mean, you see adult goths every once in a while on the train, and it's quite jarring. It's very specific. It's. I like the black nail polish, but they have eyeliner. They're usually pale.
Yes.
A lot of
Yeah.
piercings. The older you get,
Dark hair.
when you can start paying for the piercings yourself and you don't need the parents' consent,
Yeah.
they go to town.
It sucks because it's like when you're an adult, it makes actually sense like to be goth because the world is so fucked up. But
Yeah.
then it's like that's
Yeah.
the point where you're kind of not allowed to be goth
Yeah.
anymore.
I realized at an age that, if you wanted to like date women, the sadness goes on the inside. That's what I learned. But when I was in high school, it was cool. It was cool to be like, I went to a camp and basically this girl who I had a crush on didn't like me and I was depressed.
Uh-huh.
I went to this party at the camp, and there was this goth girl named Mallory and this goth guy. And he said to her, he's like, hey, you should make out with that kid. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I'm goth now. That was incredible.
Oh.
We sat down on the bench, and we made out. And I was like, oh, if that's what this is, then yeah, let's do it.
Because you were so sad.
Yeah, all right. Or who knows? Or they were just like,
She
fuck
was
the
goth.
world. She was goth.
She was
So
goth
then
and you were
She
sad.
converted him to goth.
She
'cause
converted me.
He thought goth girls are easy now, and so he was like, "Oh, I'll be goth too." Like,
Oh.
goth.
I prefer the word empowered.
Okay.
Goth girls, those gals, they were empowered. But what happened is, here's the trick that happened is I went to this camp, found my goth community. I'm like, I'm goth now. Then I started a new high school, and I start that new high school like I'm full on goth. no one there is goth. So they were like,
I've always been so. It's so funny that you were in a goth community and a goth phase without any of the culture, without any of the music. You had no connection to like
Just
goth
pants.
music, just pants.
Pants.
You just were like aesthetically you were goth, but you had no like real goth inside
Hot
you.
Topic, when they have us, you know what Hot Topic is?
I know what Hot Topic is.
Okay, so
We're more of a Spencer's Gifts type country, Canada.
really?
Yeah.
Because there is a
We
crossover.
got, we got Hot Topic now, but we didn't have it growing up.
So what was your
But they
Spencer-
sell stuff like that, stuff that you have in the box right there.
Spencer's Gifts when I was growing up was definitely like the naughty store you go
Naughty.
into.
Yeah.
And they had like drug paraphernalia.
Yes.
And I wasn't into pot, but and then they had posters of just like, you know, women looking sexy.
Yeah.
Glow in the
And they
dark
had, like-
Jessica Alba.
They had like
Yes.
pervy like gifts. They had like dirty grandpa Kane kind of like stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
like that
Shirt,
kind of thing.
yeah, shirts that were like,
Yeah.
my other asshole's a dick,
Yeah.
and it's big.
Yeah.
And that was on the back. And then,
and now the president wears that shirt.
yes. And then for Halloween they'd have masks. Like it was an all-purpose store.
Yeah, fuck shit. Just whatever. Just crazy stuff.
And they would have goth. Like Hot Topic has also become like the anime place now. If you want your manga t-shirts, your Dragon Ball Z t-shirts.
Yes.
I always swing by and I see the shirts and I'm like,
Just to see the culture where it's at.
just like a moment to be like, oh, is that nice enough to wear? And then I
Gianmarco.
what?
You're
Dragon
not-
Ball Z? Dragon Ball Z is kind of hip.
Dragon Ball Z is cool, but you can't be stopping by Hot Topic anymore to see if there's anything for you anymore. Obviously, those days are over.
Go to Ralph Lauren.
Yeah,
go to
what
the
do you mean?
boring stores with the big pants. This,
Yeah.
listen.
What are you, a fucking NASCAR team for nostalgia? You don't need to wear all the stuff
I
just
am.
'cause you like
I
it.
often say that to people. I'm a NASCAR, team. for nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Where did you get your style from?
Me? Old men. Just pictures of like my grandpa.
Mm.
Pictures of my grandpa. That was a big thing. Yeah.
It was he Canadian?
Lebanese.
So these pictures of him in Lebanon.
In Lebanon.
Your fashion sense is old man from Lebanon.
Old man from Lebanon. Okay, here's my fashion. Okay, old man from Lebanon. Pictures of my dad from the 90s when I was a kid.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
And old Chinese guys.
Okay. From where is that picture?
That's where you
coming
base all
from?
your
But
accent
just-
work
just-
off of.
Old Chinese guys. The guys who you see with the cart,
Yeah.
remove the cart. That's how I want to dress.
You just see them on the street and you
Just
think,
around, yeah.
okay.
Wait, what do you mean the cart? Like for like
Cans,
the cans?
groceries. I'm
Let
not
me
even
tapping them. Where'd you get that shirt?
I'm not even opposed to the cart. I would get the cart too.
So do you feel like your fashion sense is individual? Like you came up with this version, or do you think you all have your fucking? Oh, it's this, and it's a Japanese lady I met once in the '70s. Or do you think you're just full of shit?
What the fucking hell is going on here?
No, I'm
Just
just
because I said that NASCAR for nostalgia.
No, I'm jealous. I'm
So
jealous.
mad.
I'm trying to learn how to. I've improved.
You don't have.
I
You
don't
don't
really
learn.
know
Just
how.
go and get whatever you like. You know, just
Yeah,
get it what you like. You know,
I get in
don't
my
worry
head.
too much about it.
Thanks. I'm not. No offense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take advice from Alec on the fashion clothes.
You look so comfortable, Russell. Like this is
I'm
what I'm
so
saying.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what he wore yesterday and the episode before
Exactly.
that.
I told you I like a uniform. I like that for me. That's what
Uniform's
my
good.
thing is.
You should go to his school uniform. Go black pants.
black shirt, jeans every day.
Pretty close.
That's all.
Let me ask you something. Are the skinny jeans comfortable?
Well, I'll tell you what's not comfortable.
You wouldn't
about
even
this.
know anymore.
What?
You know how I like to when I'm on the stool. You've seen me do stand up.
Yeah.
This is the pose I like to hit.
You
Tough,
love that.
These pants they get caught. It's hard to kick.
It's hard to kick in these. It's easy in the skinny jeans.
No, they pull.
He's
I
used
get
to
this
wearing tights, basically.
tight. Yes, skinny jeans with a little bit of pull. When I go up the stairs in this, I feel the pull with each step. It takes longer to get around. These jeans,
They're not as aerodynamic. You're saying.
Yeah, and my stand up relies on the dynamism. So, when you look back in your high school, are you glad that it was strict? Like, do you think that it gave you a base to rebel against as a comedian? Do you wish you had been able to have more flexibility as a kid?
I think I did at the time. At the time, I definitely wanted to I wanted to go to public school so bad. I wanted to have a prom or
Did you have anything?
nothing like that.
What kind of private school is this?
An Islamic school, Islamic
Okay.
private school.
I know nothing about Islamic private schools.
They're not that people don't really know about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe every city will have apart from New York probably has quite a few, but I feel like every city might have one.
Really?
Maybe.
Is it genders separated?
No, we had class together. Maybe gym was kind of separate, but still kind of together.
Uh-huh.
When we would go, we'd have prayer. Prayers guys are in the front, the women in the back. That's just the way that it is outside of school.
Let me just ask, with prayer 5 times a day?
5 times a day.
How many during the school day?
1 a day. 1 during the school day.
All 4 fell outside
Wow.
of that?
Yeah, there's a morning prayer, which is depends on the time of year. Right now, it's 5:30 a.m. where the morning prayer that.
You doing that one?
I wake up for that one sometimes, or I'll hit it right when I wake up. I'll
We
wake
had
up and
Ismail
open.
on, and we talked to Ismail about he was doing 4. He was clocking in at 4 a day.
4 a day. Which one was he missing? Do you remember?
I imagine the one that fucking sucked at 5:30 a.m.
But you can just make it up.
You can make it up?
You can make it up.
Can you just do back to back?
Sometimes I'll hit it back to back.
5 in a row.
Oh, dude. See, so I've hit 5 in a row before. That just feels like this was just
How long does that take?
half an hour.
Okay, so
Not
what?
bad at all.
It's not bad at all. But if you spread it across the day,
Yeah, it's quick.
it's not that hard to hit
Yeah,
5 in a day.
6 minutes.
What's
this,
the? Is
this
it
Ramadan has been I've been hitting 5 a day more than I ever have. It's been since school.
You can't bank past the day. You can't take a day off. Be like, I'm going to Hawaii. Let me get all the prayers out of the way.
No, I
today.
can't be I missed I got to hit my Tuesdays from last week.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, no.
So
There's no carryover.
To cut off a day, you get a day.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact rules are about
I feel
that,
like the
but
exact rules are 5 times separately. I feel like all this. It's like
you're the authority.
yeah, I'm the authority. It's just it's like with Hasidic Jews where they have the someone Tova told me recently that Elvis was the, what do they call it? The something goy. The when they can't use electricity, he was the guy that would come over and be like, "Oh, you need to do this." And he'd go and do that.
Oh,
Make
really?
Elvis do that?
What?
Elvis.
Yeah, not later in his life.
Okay.
I don't think when he was famous.
When he was growing up.
When he was growing up, and he was known in the neighborhood. I think it's just the guy in the neighborhood who's willing to talk to you
Yeah.
and do favors. But so there's sometimes I hear the workarounds, and I go, okay.
But does making up a prayer a little later seem like that big of a workaround? Because there, I'll give it to you. There are some where it's all right, that's
What's one that you go, okay?
Well, that's Shabbat when you can't do any of the lights. No, that's
no electricity. That's Shabbat. I believe
or it's the Sabbath.
from sundown. No, it's Shabbat.
Shabbat.
It's Shabbat.
Shabbat. That one I've always been okay, I don't really understand that one. I mean, it's nice. It's kind of like a mini Ramadan every week, a little bit.
Sure, let's put it in Muslim terms so I can understand it. Yeah, it's like a mini Ramadan every week. Yeah, it's the gathering, it's the putting the phones away, and it's like I can appreciate to a degree. And then someday I'm making vacation plans with Tova, and her sister still practices, and so she can't travel on this day. Or if the flight gets delayed into the thing, she can no longer get on the flight. And I go, oh, let's start making some exceptions.
Yeah.
Let's put those prayers together. We're going away.
See, this is what I'm saying. Our thing is economical, and also if you're traveling, you can kind of stack prayers together.
Yeah.
If you're traveling, you can be like, all right, I can just hit these two together.
What is the prayer? I know very little, so I don't mean to be obnoxious with so many questions. What does it entail? Is it saying a specific prayer?
It's saying specific verses from the Quran.
Same ones every time.
Some of them are the same every time, and some are just certain things that you say. Some things from the Quran, some that are just part of the prayer specifically. And it's giving glory to God, and then it's bowing and it's putting your head on the floor, and it's just kind of humbling yourself and trying to like ground yourself literally and just being still is how I.
It's similar to what I do in yoga often every morning.
Yeah.
And that's more than 30 minutes, I'll tell you that. I'm stacking it up.
You do yoga every morning?
It's two to three times a week.
So not every.
But I'm talking 5 times a day.
yeah.
Would you do yoga 5 times a day?
Piece.
One
of
might say I
shit.
do yoga on stage. Some people say my stand-up
One might
is,
say.
One might say. I might say. I might say on a good day. When was the last time you prayed? Like really, like you said, you thought like maybe, might as well.
I think it was in a crisis moment.
But as opposed to, God, I wish this fucking line would fucking.
No, it's probably been 3 years, 4 years, 4 years.
Do you remember like how? Like, do you remember? Were you
No,
visualizing?
because I don't know experience growing up with like praying.
So what was your
So
positioning?
I was
Were
sitting
you, you were
pretty
sitting?
casually.
Pretty casually.
Yeah,
Just kind of like as if like right now you could just easily
I
transition.
could
into it.
transition into it,
It's
but I
just-
was sad. It was something was going on. So, and it wasn't like a formal prayer. It was like one of those things where you're like, I just wish this thing would happen and it
Yeah.
would stop happening.
You didn't speak
know?
in like God. I'm asking God.
No, I didn't speak
language.
out loud either. It was like it was in my head of like I imagine if there's anything, it would hear it. This.
We did, like, I went to a private middle school, and it used to be Christian, and then it faded away to a degree, but we still did. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Do you know this prayer? On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Forgive us those who
Trespass against us.
as
As
we
we forgive, forgive us for trespassing as we forgive those who trespass against us. And deliver us from evil and not to temptation. For thy is the kingdom and the power and the glory.
hallowed be thy
Amen.
name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Bro, Christian prayers always make me feel like vampires are coming.
Yeah. I only know that from either movies or when I've gone to like a thing and they always say it. They always say that one, right? The big one.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean I know it somewhat.
And let's do the same thing with the Jewish prayer.
Okay.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
I've heard this one too.
asher kashano
Yeah.
mitzvah tov Hanukkah. What?
And my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
But the prayers, if you say Christians are like, it's like a vampire is coming. What's like? Is yours more poetic?
It's literally poetry. The Quran is a book of poetry.
Mm.
Yeah, it's written in like poetic language.
And the school. So what did you do? So there were no prom. There was
No.
Was there a school musical?
No, dude, there was no theater at all. But what happened is that there was like a certain teacher that kind of saw something kind of in me that I was like, there just kept being moments of like,
You're praying very theatrically.
Oh my God, look at the prayer on him. Wow.
I was like praying like in the movie Malcolm X when he prays like after he like really when he really needs it.
Yeah. They saw something in you, you know?
Oh man, no, it was like I kept there would be like these book reports that we'd have to do. Like we do like a To Kill a Mockingbird thing. And they'd be like, we're gonna do like some kind of like in front of the class type thing about it. And then I would always come in and have done like way too much compared to the other like I would like
Sure.
I'd have an outfit and an accent and
Oh.
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then one teacher was like, we need to like, do something for this kid. So they tried to do a theater program and they put on this play called The Paper Bag Bandit. And we tried to put it up and we started rehearsals for it. And I was like, I was so in. The other kids
They
like, didn't-
created this whole thing around you at the school.
basically for me.
Yeah.
It was for me. I mean, like other kids were involved in it, but this was so that I wanted it.
Yeah.
I really wanted it. And my teacher, Miss Lee, she tried to make it happen. And then at some point, one of the Islamic studies teachers came down and he shut the whole thing down. He's like, no,
No way.
we're not doing this.
What?
'Cause there was like a
what about-
romance aspect of the play.
romance.
And she's like, what are we gonna have like little kids like kiss? There was no kiss or anything like
Yeah.
that, but it was like anything like alluding to that.
Was
Oh
that
my
part of
God.
the
He just
like,
put his foot down.
Was that part of the curriculum too? Like were you not like certain stories or books not allowed or Not really.
I mean, we were like read like Romeo and Juliet in school. Like we would like read plays, but then it was.
Was there a value judgment after the fact? Like, and that's why they're dead at the end of this, kids.
No, like at the end of the play. Oh,
I mean, Romeo and Juliet.
At the end of
Romeo and Juliet, it's a good story about the importance of abstinence.
Yeah.
I mean, it did not work out for those two at all.
Do they have premarital sex?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
They both,
Kaputs.
kill themselves.
And also, like, one thing that is also never brought up is that I think in the play they're supposed to be like 14.
13, 14, yeah.
And, when 13-year-old, 14-year-old, oh, my heart. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You'll be fine.
I know. They really should have waited like 3 more days. You
Like,
know what I mean?
like that story is so
You're
romantic. But
hasty.
if you had a 14-year-old who was like, I'm going to kill myself if I can't, I'd be like, okay.
Okay, well.
Oh, we got to keep you away from the poison guy. What's his name?
Is the friar,
whole
right?
sketch, the friar.
Yeah. Wait, didn't that guy sold this kid just poison?
Well,
Yeah,
he
no, he's
sold
canceled.
he sold a wait, was it a sleeping potion that was supposed to wake up or something? So she drank something, put her to sleep.
Yes.
He found her, thought she's dead. He kills himself.
He had his own potion.
Yeah, you're right.
So who
Wait,
sold?
I thought it was the
No.
other way around.
Yeah, something
She
happened.
saw him.
I don't remember.
Chris,
Chris,
can we give it a look up? Producer Chris Muller.
Look up the plot of Romeo and
We have a
Juliet.
we have a funny
It's
sketch.
very different. Remember how we said at the beginning, like the Joe Rogan? It's like we have a very different kind of. You pull that up, Romeo and Juliet.
Douglas Goodhart wrote a really funny sketch about this whole idea. I remember on Uncle Function.
Where he's like, I want a potion so it makes me seem like I'm dead, but not. And as I was saying the line, I remembered I played the character who said it.
Yeah.
So I want a potion, and he goes, I have a potion. It'll put her to sleep, and then she won't remember a thing. And he's like,
And
no.
everyone's like,
I
"No."
don't. No. That's not what I'm looking for.
This friar is definitely selling roofies.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
She won't remember a thing, and everyone could be like, no, it's okay if she remembers. She's in on the plan.
So were you
Okay.
devastated? First, I have to say this. I want you to imagine for a second how theatrical Malik must have been that at Islamist private school, they said, we need to make a theater program just because this kid is going to explode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You must have been coming to
costumes,
everything.
accents.
Overalls, Southern accent for the To Kill a Mockingbird
Oh yeah,
demonstration.
And they're like, we just wanted you to turn in an essay. You didn't have, here's my essay.
Yeah.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
I say.
I see. This man is innocent.
Were you, how deep into the rehearsal process did you get?
Probably halfway.
Oh my.
Memorized? You were rehearsing it?
I was memorized. Nobody else was Nobody else gave a shit at all. All my friends were just like
They're like, we're
just,
canceling Malik's play.
They're just like doing it. It basically was.
Yeah.
Other
Was
people were
it
involved.
dramatic? Like, did he walk in and go, what is this?
I remember one point he walked in and like it felt like he was barging in on something, and I remember like the teacher kind of like it was like a feeling of like she like kind of like was hoping that this would never happen, and I was like, oh, are we not like it's not above board,
Uh-huh.
you know? And then at some point we just found out that like the teacher was just like she just had to tell it. She's like he put a stop to it.
How upset were you? Did you cry?
I don't think I cried. I don't think I was able to yet.
Say sixth prayer that day?
I threw it up. I threw a curse in there.
That
It
would be
was- I was-
devastating.
I was devastated. I remember I was really sad. And then
In that moment, did you think, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it one day when I'm out of this fucking school?
I started going to community theater while I went to the school. I like called a theater company I think that year, and I just was like, can I audition to be a part of it? So like while I was going to Islamic high school, I like went and I would audition. I auditioned at this place called Calgary Young People's Theater.
Uh-huh.
And I did the Count of Monte Cristo there. That was my first play I ever actually went through with.
And
And-
did you love it?
I loved it.
So you were real, because Paige told me, the one thing Paige told me to ask is about your theater kid days. You must have talked about it with her.
Yeah, we had mentioned it. Yeah,
So
I was
You-
Fernand in the Count of Monte Cristo.
I don't know that one
I
very
don't
well.
know that.
Any others?
I was Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that's a good role.
That was a
I
good
just
role.
know it from the BBC version, but I know who
He was
played it
good.
in the BBC. It was amazing. David Tennant?
No. It was Andrew Scott.
Oh my God!
And
yeah.
that was coming out as I was playing him. So I was like,
Oh.
I remember feeling like I can't watch what he's doing. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I remember those days where you're like, I can't possibly.
19 years old, being like, I don't want to copy his performance.
Yeah.
Is Andrew Scott the guy from Fleabag?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Incredible.
I need to go back because I saw that before I saw Fleabag.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, Fleabag! You watch Fleabag?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I've seen just
Oh,
the pilot. I've seen
wow.
just the pilot.
Watch Fleabag.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good. I think about it all the time.
So yeah, I was Moriarty, but the way that it was put into the play is that I was the narrator for the whole play, and then you didn't know who I was, and then by the end it's revealed that I've been Moriarty and I've been pulling the strings.
Oh my God! I'd be mad as the audience. I'd say, "What the fuck?
Wow.
I don't trust anything you were saying."
A twist?
A twist?
This is bullshit.
A to C. So it's just such an interesting. For me, school gave me theater, and you had two completely separate worlds.
Mhm.
When you finished school, what kind of college did you go to college for theater?
No. I went to college, university for like a semester, and then I dropped out, and then would do stand up, and then would try to go again, and then drop out again. Like I just kept like kind of like being like, this can't. I don't know if this is going to be the thing. Like I don't know if I can. Or I would like want to do something to like kind of make my parents happy or not worried. Just get something just on paper
Yeah.
so that I had something. And then
What did they think of your theater? Your theater?
they did not like it at the time. They were they didn't want it to be happening. They kind of didn't know how to handle it.
Did they see you in the show?
They saw The Count of Monte Cristo.
And what did they say after?
I remember them just being like, "Yeah, good, yeah." Like they just didn't know what. None of it was like.
They didn't. They could. They
There's no
weren't able
frame
to
of
be like. They
reference.
weren't able to be like, "Wow, you're really good." Or they were just like, "Because you didn't."
Just the whole thing, I think, made them very uncomfortable at the time.
Yeah.
Right,
Being
right.
out and seeing, first of all, seeing a play for the first time in your life, and then your son is in it,
Yeah.
and then it's like you never really thought that your son would be in a play or doing anything like this. It was just the whole thing was very jarring for them at the time, and they just had no idea what I was. I think they were just worried about me.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I think that they had was that they were worried about me after.
So theater was not ever a part of their lives.
No, they moved. They're like immigrants from Lebanon and like
theater
Does
Parent-
Lebanon not have a version
Yeah,
of
but I
theater?
don't think
No.
it's that different. Was theater a part of your parents' lives?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. My mom saw stand-up comedy. My mom saw
Mhm.
Broadway shows. She was a New Yorker. She grew up
Yeah.
in
She
Long
She was
Island.
in New York.
She was in New York.
parents are
It
from
wasn't. It wasn't a
no.
part of my parents' like they. I'm sure they saw things here and there, but they weren't like active or going a lot. You know.
When they saw you on Broadway, did they know what to do? Did they sit in the chair right? And-
incredible.
Yeah. No, they'd seen a lot of plays by then.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, no, my parents are from like a village in Lebanon, so there was not.
When did they met in the village, moved here to Canada together?
Yeah, they got married there. The village is like 2,000 people, maybe less.
Mm.
Oh my
Like
God.
a well. There's like a well in the middle of the town. Like it's like a village.
Were they each other's first boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yeah, they just got married.
It's a village. You can't be playing in the field. It's a small field.
Yeah,
People are
no,
talking.
no, there is no playing the field. There's just like you like somebody and then you go talk to their parents and you're like,
How old were they when they got married?
How old were they? They were. My dad was probably like 25.
Okay.
My mom was probably like 21 or 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did they move to Canada?
My uncle lived in Canada. My uncle lived in Winnipeg. My great uncle, my mom's uncle, and he had like a garment factory in Winnipeg, and so they had just moved there because they just knew somebody. It was really just to kind of like just to work. There's not like a lot of work over there. There's not like a really a big life you could make for yourself. So they like the
I think whenever I just hear those stories, though, it's just like to immigrate to certain places now, you gotta get the lawyer to do the green card thing. It's so complicated, and I'm
Yeah.
like to get the resources in a village of 2,000 people, unless Canada at the time was like more open to it, or there was a
I don't know
Lebanese
paperwork-wise.
community.
There was a Lebanese community. There were Lebanese people around that kind of like absorbed my parents, and they had like my uncle and
Did they work in garment the garment industry as well?
My parents?
Yeah.
My mom worked there while she was like pregnant with me. My mom and my dad both worked at this leather factory in Winnipeg in like the minus like 50, I don't even know what that is, Fahrenheit weather, like just brutal winter.
Wait,
just
what Fahrenheit? Oh, you don't
minus
know what
50
it is.
Celsius is like.
Sorry. First of all, did you figure out Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
Then
He went to an apothecary.
and then which one was pretending to be dead first?
Juliet.
That's what I'm saying.
and then Romeo killed himself.
Then Romeo
off
killed
the
himself.
back of
Then
that.
she woke up and she was like, "Oh God!" And then she killed
And then-
herself.
but then there was but a drop of his
yes.
tincture
And she took
left.
a little bit of the poison.
And then what's 50 Celsius?
I'm getting there.
Thank you.
Fif- No. It's probably 50 Fahrenheit and
No.
Celsius. It's
We think it's
no 50 negative 50
That-
Celsius.
It could get to like negative
hot.
40.
No, that's
Hot.
cold.
Oh, it's cold.
It's Canada. What are you?
Cold.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Very cold.
It says negative 58 Fahrenheit.
Oh my God, your parents
50 Celsius.
died. They must have died. You can't survive in that.
I mean, I went to
Fahrenheit
school way
makes
up.
no sense.
I think that's the
No,
first
it
thing your
does.
parents. We
No, it
walked
does,
10
because
miles to
it's-
school.
I'm
We worked
serious.
in negative 50 Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit just doesn't make any sense.
No, it
We didn't
doesn't
have to
make
kill
any
the cows.
sense.
They were already dead. We just peeled the skin off of them.
there was barely any leather.
Yeah. Yeah, it got really cold where I went to school. I mean, I was up by Canada, and it would be negative like 40 or so with
Yeah.
wind chill and
Yeah.
stuff. Awful.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So
You
that's-
miss Canada? Where in Canada was this? You said Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
this is Winnipeg. So that's where I
Okay.
was born. I was born as a baby. I was born as a baby.
Hmm. Good to
Yeah.
establish that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a baby, I was born there, and then within 6 months moved to Calgary, and then that's where I grew up. That's where I'm from.
Calgary, I went there.
Did you go there? Or did you go to Edmonton?
You son of a bitch.
Because I know where you go.
Yeah, I
stopped-
know where you
I
go.
stopped at Calgary on the way to Edmonton.
Did you?
And I did a one-nighter.
Where?
At, the Laugh Shop.
You did the Laugh Shop.
The Laugh Shop.
Shout out to Matt from the Laugh Shop.
Shout out to Matt. And it was the hotel was called
The Hotel Blackfoot.
Blackfoot. And can you imagine what joke I made about Justin Trudeau?
Blackface.
I said he doesn't
And-
stay here. He stays with the black face.
Ah.
Just killed. Really is.
Yes.
And I
Oh, how they laughed and laughed and
Oh, how
laughed.
they laughed and laughed. It's so sad. I mean, I try to more do jokes about how with Canadians, that's like, that is all I know. Is that and
Justin
Rob
Trudeau.
Ford smoked crack.
Rob
Remember
Oh
Rob
my
Ford?
God!
Such a
Did
sick
that guy
story.
die?
He's dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh man,
His
died.
brother's the premier now.
really?
His brother swallowed a bee. Chris, can we pull that?
Wait,
We're not at the level
Rob
of
Ford
your
really-
mama's house yet.
he really.
That's the dream. I want a screen right here, and we pull up
Yeah.
the.
Okay,
bee
but
video.
okay, if you're watching it, go look up Doug Ford swallows a bee during a press conference.
Oh my
He
God.
curses, right? He just goes fuck.
Fucking bee.
Oh man, Rob Ford. He really exploded out of the scene for a minute there. You know.
He was really JFL New Faces.
Yeah.
He was, yeah, he had everything.
JFL New Faces.
He was
Rob
going to Moon
Ford.
Tower.
He was
had-
wow. He
He
really.
was on a track. Yeah.
yeah.
Shame what happened to him.
I'm
Wait,
sure.
but what did
I'm-
happen to him?
I think he just passed away.
died. He was a crack addict.
smoking
and
crack and hanging on the projects. He had a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
Heart exploded.
Okay.
he
I think.
exploded.
Okay.
His heart exploded.
Do Canadian comics, do they go, another Justin Trudeau blackface joke? I'm going to kill myself.
No, well, they do it all the time.
They do it too?
They do it all the time. Everybody does it a little
It's
bit.
been out for a long time.
It has been, and also it's annoying when something becomes like so commonplace like that because it is like kind of the craziest story ever that the prime minister has multiple pictures of him in blackface.
That's the funny part. Listen, one, come on. Let he without sin cast the first stone.
I'm guessing.
We're all theater
But-
kids here.
But Justin Trudeau, it was like one after another
Yeah,
after
it was a
another.
lot.
Darker with each picture that went by.
Some of them,
Yeah.
it's like this is not even like the penis wouldn't even match. The skin tone is not even.
And what's funny about it is like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was worse or
It
better.
wasn't even
because
Halloween.
It
It's
wasn't
just
even
like
Halloween.
someone's wedding. You're like, what are you doing,
But
man?
it also wasn't just like, I put this on. It was like, I sat down in a makeup chair and spent $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hired somebody.
It's
Yeah.
full body. Even if I lift
Yeah.
up my shirt, it's covered there too.
Yeah, he had like a turban with a jewel. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
people. It wasn't just blackface, brownface as well.
It was Disney did the makeup.
It was a diversity of blackface.
yeah.
That's his
That was his pitch.
cover.
That was
Yeah.
his cover.
Listen, no.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to think about how little you know about other countries, and like, you know, I'm sure you had everyone in Canada had complex thoughts about Trudeau, but from the outside there was a while where it was like he's cool, he's liberal, funky socks, and then it was like, oh no, he did blackface, and that's it. And that was
Yeah.
like what, you know.
There's very like few things that like break through to America from Canada. It's Rob Ford smoking crack and it's Trudeau doing blackface. Like you have to do something crazy for you guys to hear about it.
Yeah.
We hear about all your shit.
Yeah.
We know about everything that happens
Wow.
in America.
That's what's amazing touring as an American stand-up
We get
comedian.
some other things.
You can go to Canada and
go to
just
Europe.
Be like Nancy Pelosi, and then everybody's like, oh my god.
I can say
yeah.
Roe v. Wade in Europe, and
Yeah.
they go, yeah.
If you were here and you were like in the middle like of a bit, you're like, and Jagmeet Singh is doing this, this, and that. Nobody knows what that's the leader of the NDP party.
I know. I've seen your set.
My whole set is Canadian politics, and
Canadian-
provincial humor.
Let me tell you, that's a funny
tragically
bit.
hip.
If you ever
That's a
want to do,
Canadian thing.
Yes.
See,
See,
He's naming Canadian things.
He's just naming Canadian things now. See, this is I don't like this. I don't like that.
if you want to
Don't do
do
that.
my show, and you have my permission to bomb your ass off if you do completely like Canadian specific political material.
But act like everybody just knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like
no,
lean
no
into it
explanation.
with the same way that I do. He says at the hotel, blackface, like that kind of like you're
Like
confident.
lean into it like a.
This has
like
been
a
killing for
1980s
years.
Comedian. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
yeah.
ni- yeah, my act, a
Yeah.
1980s comedian.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm trying to think of some. I'm trying to think of some NDP material.
sure, you could make it up, and we'd go, "Wow,
We wouldn't
that
know.
was good. That was a good line."
Yeah. I wonder what Jack Layton would have thought of that. That'd be a big punchline. I'm telling you.
How's your
Jack
adjustment?
Layton's probably rolling in his grave right now. Passed away.
yeah. Then there's your tag. It's the information we needed to understand the
Yeah.
joke.
He's dead. He's dead.
He's dead.
I needed that like a bee in the guy's mouth.
Yeah.
You got a bee in his mouth at a conference.
yeah. Yeah. What am I? A bee during a Doug Ford press conference? He swallowed a bee.
You have my like you can come on.
I'll do it.
And bomb, and I won't then be like, hey, you really ate shit out there. I'm done booking you.
No, people will laugh if you frame it like that. That's very funny to just do it and then be like,
Wow.
Yeah, you know, like
it
talking
as a
about
bit.
trying to fit in at some party and be like, I felt like Justin Trudeau trying to wear wearing a sari to Diwali. He wore Indian clothing to Diwali. He wore traditional Indian clothing to Diwali.
How has it been moving to New York? How you doing?
how long have you been here?
2 months
Wow.
Yeah.
From Canada.
from Canada, right from
Wow.
Calgary to here.
Is there anything you noticed about just interacting with people here that like there's a stereotype of Canadians being polite, and I've been in Canada long enough to go,
No,
no,
they're not polite. There's just less people.
sure,
There's just less.
yeah, there's less bumping into it. But when I went to Paris,
Yes.
I was
They were rude.
I was shocked. I saw people like bumping into other people
Yeah.
with not an excuse me in sight, and I was like, oh, that's real.
Yeah. Well, on a smaller scale, Montreal, as long as we're talking about the French, incredibly rude in Montreal.
Really,
You didn't feel that when we were in Montreal together?
I felt a tinge of it when I was there.
you did?
Incredibly
I
rude.
did. I felt like there were. Well, my main thing was there was just certain things where it was like it was surprising how short. And you know we're in New York where I'm used to that kind of thing, but it was short in a different way.
It's
It was
different
short
way.
in a like that kind of like this kind of way.
It's so dismissive of like if you don't speak French, which is like it's so
Yeah.
clear
Yes, yeah.
that it's not obvious that I would speak French. I went into a place and I was like, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" And they were like, "Pardon?" I'm like, "Coffee,
Coffee.
coffee."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
They were like,
yeah. Also, they didn't
you're
take American
downtown.
Express. Makes sense, but also I
I
was
did think
not
it was
planning
rude
on
that not more of them showed up for our live podcast taping.
Yeah,
That was
that was
a
pretty
bit of a
rude
slight.
of them. Yeah.
I don't find there to be like I mean like there hasn't been like a huge like transition for me because I kind of like I think I just always wanted to live here. I think I was always like thinking about New York and always like ever since I saw Spider-Man as a kid, I was like I just got to live in New York. It's just
That was the movie that did it.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Where half the
Spider-Man.
city is destroyed in a fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to join that fight.
You're like
Yeah.
There's a thing going on around now. There's some guy who apparently has been punching
people.
punching
Yeah.
women.
What?
Just in the back of the head.
You know,
Not
I-
as Spider-Man.
No.
No, well,
He's going
we need
around
Spider-Man
punching-
to stop
we need
him.
Spider-Man.
He says sorry.
Wouldn't that be funny if that was the movie where instead of a big bad, it's a villain who's a goblin who flies? It's just a guy who
Street
just
puncher.
keeps punching women in the back of the head and then
Yeah.
running away.
And Spider-Man keeps trying to, like, he can't figure
He
out.
can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I hate any time in New York where there's a thing like this subway slasher or this puncher.
Yeah, it's like, don't even tell me about it.
I know.
There's just somebody
Let
with
me
a
get
knife.
punched and be surprised by it or
Because they keep
slashed.
texting Tova because, you know, they it's like, it's always the women are on their phone.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be what it is.
They showed where it was happening. It's right by Del Roth Theater. They did like a square of it. It's by Union
They
Square.
sent Tova
down
another
to,
one
like,
where it was like a picture of our apartment.
No, yeah.
It's like here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me
On
tell
top
you
of your
something.
head.
If this you want to catch this guy, if this guy punches Tova, Tova is going to beat the shit out of him. Tova's going to beat the shit out of him. And then me for not starting it.
not stopping him.
Tova is not to be fucked with.
No.
Tova,
No.
before we knew each other, she was a guy on the subway, grabbed her phone and ran, and she chased after him, tackled him to the ground,
Whoa.
got the phone back.
Yeah.
And in the process, one of her contacts fell out, and we're pretty sure this is when her night terrors started. So that, honestly, if there's one thing that would get me to leap into action, it would be like, oh my God, this guy's about to make the night terrors even worse.
Yeah.
I got to step up to the plate.
Or maybe get rid of him. Just like, you know.
You think they knock
him loose.
no.
Knock him loose.
No, but you know, like sometimes something happens and then you're like, boom, other way.
Don't tell Tova about this guy.
No, I'm kidding.
Tova, you don't spend enough time on your phone when you're walking down the street.
I feel like I keep texting you and you're not looking. You text her all the time.
Oh,
What
God.
about not that?
But what's funny is I was Googling the article for this guy, and it was like there was another guy 5 months ago who was just punching ladies.
Really?
Like in the history of New York.
different guy?
You think the first guy is
More
like,
than
that
one
guy's
man?
stealing my moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the sequel, Spider-Man 2, The Puncher Returns.
Oh my God. I don't like it. It's like, because then remember there was that slasher for a while on the subway.
Yeah.
Slashing people.
Well, there's a comedian, Doug Smith, where he's like tried to stop someone and he slashed his face.
Oh my
But
God.
he got a really good chunk out of it
Did he?
for stand-up, yeah.
Oh.
Worth it. Can we talk about your Don't Tell set for a second?
Sure.
So his Don't Tell set was the day of your Broadway debut.
Oh my God.
And what day was that?
That was October 7th.
Yeah, it was.
That was
wasn't
October
Yeah.
7th. And it was so
Big
funny.
day for the two of us.
it? Huge day for us.
Huge day.
Yeah.
We did. You can we can. I'm gonna keep this super vague about JFL, and we can cut it if you hit it. But it was so funny. Is
Oh, we don't have to be. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we can be vague about the person. I guess the
Maybe.
individual. You're welcome to say whatever you like.
Okay, I'll think about it.
You had some great. Your JFL set was great.
Thank you.
And you had a chunk. You had two chunks in specific that related to the Jews. There was the death to all Jews part.
No, okay.
then
well,
there-
no,
I'm just
well,
kidding.
No,
No, there was,
no, there's
there
nothing
was-
about Jews.
No, it was about Kanye.
About Kanye and what.
But it
he's-
related to the. I'm saying it
related
related to the Jews.
But
I
yes.
think of it. Yeah, but it was just about how defending Kanye.
Yes,
You used to be a Kanye defender.
We have to make this clear of what I,
make it
what
really
I said.
clear.
You can't.
We're gonna
off
do a
the
link
top-
to the
Yeah,
set.
yeah,
Yeah, off the top. Say
I'll
it.
summarize it.
Are you crazy?
So,
you nuts? You're trying to kill me?
You
You're like-
started the set with one of your characters where you came out with a
The Muslim Jew.
the Muslim Jew. Go see the set. We're gonna put the set.
Yeah, watch the
Everyone's
set.
seen it.
Yeah, watch
Did
the
you
set.
watch it?
Not yet.
Literally, I sent you one thing to watch before.
And I wanted to meet him
problem.
first and
No
then
problem.
watch it.
Yeah.
You know?
Watch
Yeah,
the
yeah,
set.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like to be fresh.
But ultimately, the punchline is: so I still listen to Kanye West sometimes.
Yes.
And it was because, tell me if I get this right. Your grandma, when living in Lebanon, at some point there were some IDF people doing some kind of practice with military weapons.
Yes.
And they fired a missile
Yes.
through her window into the kitchen, and it didn't go off.
Into the home. Just went all throughout the house. bopped in and around, bumped into things, and then eventually just stopped.
Oh my god.
And not like a cute bumping, like a cartoon, like
No,
boing,
destroying
boing, boing,
things.
boing.
No, yeah.
Destroy-
No.
yeah.
It wasn't like ding, 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 ding. No, it was like smashing through walls
Yes.
and then stopped on the ground, and then they like heated up the whole floor, so they had to like put sand
Oh
on
my
the
God.
floor to like be able to walk in to go and get it, and then took it outside.
Hold up.
God.
It heated the whole. It was so hot that like what kind of floor? Like tiles and just.
Probably just concrete.
And they had to like pick it up, thinking
My grandma just
Good.
picked it up. She was like
It couldn't
pregnant.
go
with-
off.
My grandma picked it. She's pregnant with my uncle. She just picked up the missile.
oh
What
my
the fuck?
God.
I know.
We were next to a car that was on its side. We drove by an accident, and I was scared that car was going to explode. Let alone
Yeah.
a missile. I'm not
Oh
touching
my
that thing.
God.
She went and got it. I think her and then somebody else like they both like picked it up and like took it outside. And then the IDF just came by and they were like, "Oh, sorry, sorry about that." And then they just took it and then they left and then they went back.
And the punchline is, so I still listen to Kanye.
So when
Yeah.
Kanye comes on, I don't shut it off.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
to be fair, nobody does.
No
the
one.
playing
Nobody
of
does.
Kanye did not change one iota.
Unless
No,
it's the new stuff.
This was before the new stuff.
yeah.
Before the new stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
before the new stuff. And
Which-
the thing I said before that it was that he said all these things, and I was like, this better be a great album. I mean, which is not.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
this
no.
better be a good album.
Yeah.
Which it has
Yeah.
not been.
No.
There are a couple tracks on there which maybe we go, all right, whatever.
Really?
Couple tracks.
I got to try to listen to it. It's not the same.
Yeah,
for
put your
me.
biases aside.
I promise you, I'm able to listen to Kanye with an open heart and an open mind. But it was just funny. There was a person of Jewish descent who
Yeah, an older woman, we'll say.
Oh, I know who it is.
You know who it is.
Yeah.
An older Jewish woman from New York
but I
who
just,
took great issue with my set.
Did she tell you?
Well,
which, by the way, let me just say, like, fully jokes aside, there is nothing in this set. I say far. It's perfectly constructed, the logic of it, and there's nothing.
no, I'm very.
You tell a story about a thing that occurred.
That occurred, and I was very careful to be like, I don't want this to bother. I don't want anybody to misconstrue this as anti-Semitism. I was very careful about doing it, of just being like, this is a joke about sort of like, and I know this is like a woo-woo-y, but it's like moral clearance, you know, like this thing happens to you, so I
Sure.
feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
Sure, and it wasn't. It wasn't even on. For my money, it wasn't even on the line, in terms of like.
I didn't think so.
It wasn't.
But what was the issue? What was her
It was.
issue?
I remember the Kanye line. I just remember one time there was just like that's a terrible joke. And it wasn't like the
God.
quality of the joke, but like that you'd still listen to Kanye is a terrible thing. And I was like, there's Kanye playing right now in the green room.
Yeah.
But do you have a discussion? Was there ever like a discussion period?
Not a real discussion, because you told me it after the fact that because I would be out of the room and she would be backstage listening to my set, and I found out after the fact that she would just be making such a stink every night
Really?
about my set, about
I never saw her go off too much, but there was maybe
every night she would. But the first night I got in the back, she's like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" And then I got to say her whole set after that, and I don't think that it was initially supposed to be that way, was about Israel.
Oh.
She did her whole. I had like a chunk of it.
Oh, yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
remember like her whole set was like, "It's a democracy." I don't want to do the voice too much, but
I mean, I don't know how you could have done it any more than you already did, but I feel like I'm at your English class in high school. But what I thought was so, and by the way, this was before
This was all
October
before.
7th. This was
yeah.
where
So I
like,
don't even know
if
what I
we're-
could have been talking about.
if we're
'cause
even
nothing
looking
ever
at, like-
happened
Yeah,
before October
nothing
7th, so I
ever
must
happened.
have. I don't know what I even was referring to. What could I have been talking about that she was upset about?
October 7th.
I wonder what she was even mad about back
My
then.
God.
But it was so funny because I feel like even the material about Israel, and this is with like a lot of like liberal Jews in New York, where it's just like, listen, Netanyahu is a fascist, but ba 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 ba, and I go like, well, if the head of the thing is a fascist, then clearly there's no way you can just be like, well, the enterprise is okay, we'll take care of the fascist later. But I think like, especially because Netanyahu was friends with Trump, there was very much a full-on where liberal Jews would go, fuck Netanyahu, and then suddenly there was no like even squaring of
I know,
like,
yeah.
well, then it is strange to support the person. Like you wouldn't expect someone who hated Trump outside of America to then be like pro-Trump. It was very frustrating.
It was insane. Yeah, it was like such a cognitive dissonance, like you just couldn't talk to this person about it.
And they're it's so quick to all of a sudden being like, if Hamas was in control, they would throw you off a building, and you're like, what are you?
Yeah, it was very much that.
Where do we even get to that? Like, where do we even get to anyone being like? It's just like a wild.
Yeah, it was very much like go and wear that skirt over there and see what happens.
Yeah, just to the degree of like, okay, well, what about you think the missiles that were being sent from Israel over there were not hitting the gay people at all either?
Yeah,
you think it was they were there?
No, they were just in the closet at that point.
Sure. Yeah.
They need some time.
But so it was.
You need a closet to come out of. You can't destroy a whole building. There's no closet to come out of at that point.
Of course.
Yeah.
I saw it was Sridhar who we had on. He said this was when they were talking about there were 40 beheaded babies, which there's been shown to be no evidence of this particular thing. But he had the tweet that said, "Do you think when a bomb is dropped on a building that the baby's head stays on the body?"
I know. Well, this is the thing that comes that is very like it happens every time, which is and it's America and it's Israel as well, which is like. These people are killing people like animals, not in the beautiful way that we kill people.
Not in the nice, clean,
amazing,
sort of rich way that we
just
do
kind
it.
of dissolve their whole being in 1 second.
And we don't have to be there to do it. We can sit
and there's no profile pieces. There's no profile pieces. There's no here watch the interview with this person who went through that because they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
So it's just like your entire intake of the world is one-sided.
Yeah.
And it obviously was so complicated after October 7th. Like there were people that like the Flyers was like big, like the Flyers was such a gigantic
I would say 5 days after it was complicated. I would say 5 days after it happened that was like the only time where ever like felt like okay, this is actually complicated.
Sure.
Because when people were like, it's complicated over there, it never was to me. The 5 days after October 7th, I'm like, this is a complicated time. And then since then, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not again.
Of course. I think the bottom line is that if you have to be willing to say, if you think it's complicated still, or if you think like, or if you think like, oh, well, Israel's just doing what it needs to do, you have to at least admit, and I think you should have to admit publicly, that you don't value life equally.
Yeah.
And the problem is that people their whole existence they would go, of course I value life equally. I'm like, you cannot say that and then look at these numbers and these things. It's impossible.
You cannot look at the numbers and then try to talk to me about like well, what about the hostage? You're like, what are you talking about? Like what? Like and obviously there's hostages on both sides. What are you?
First, we need to get rid of Hamas. I'm like the thing that you're saying is not like a thing that is you're going to get rid of an ideology or a group.
No, there's always caveats that well, you admit this thing and then we can start talking about it. Where it's like it's just to kind of it's to kind of dissolve your whole argument so that you've kind of already knelt. You've kind of already gave them your hand.
Yeah,
it's like you have to say about the hostages. Of course, free the hostages.
Of course, free the hostages.
Of course, free the hostages.
I don't see actions being taken by Israel to make that happen.
No,
at all.
And the trajectory happened like you would assume, where it basically was like there were people very it was like, well, they gotta defend themselves. And then gradually it's like, oh, and look, here the numbers are going up. People are dying, and then gradually people are making more in America, at least are getting frustrated. Yeah. And it's just like, this is exactly the trajectory. And then you're gonna look back and you're gonna go, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I never said we should do this.
I know.
Every time.
The changing of the thing too. Imagining in like 10 years when people are like, "Wow, that was awful," and like, "What are you talking about?" Like, people were saying it was awful, and it was a mass thing to get people to shut the fuck up in every single level, and it's maddening because it's a
really crazy time. Emil Wakim's joke about it, I want to quote.
Let's quote it. I love Emil.
He said, if you're ever wondering on how you should feel on an issue in the Middle East, just don't take the side that America's on. Very simple.
Sure.
0 for 30.
Yeah.
In the region.
Yeah. Really.
Shout out to Emil.
Yeah.
So you were going to do a lot of the set that I saw for this Don't Tell.
What you see in my Don't Tell set is exactly what I plan to do.
Yeah,
I
but-
woke up that morning, and the day before that, I was already gonna tell these jokes about Israel.
You can't. This is a big deal. Don't tell set. You're
Yeah.
going to move to America.
I just got an American visa. It's my first American thing. It's my first like actual professional American job in comedy, and it's like the don't tell taping. This is essentially can do sort of what the Tonight Show used to do. You know,
Yeah.
it's a very big thing. You know.
The Tonight Show.
Oh wait, let's run
used
that
to-
back. I don't want to poo-poo the Tonight Show.
No. Oh my God. Oh, too late, buddy. This is the poo poo on the Tonight Show podcast.
No. We love the Tonight Show. We love the Tonight
No.
Show.
I meant that Don't Tell is very successful, but the Tonight Show used to be you'd have
A sitcom
a
after you.
sitcom after it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe.
And maybe, I guess maybe my Don't Tell set was good enough. I just don't understand. But he does a brilliant thing in the clip that I asked you to watch before you came here. Is after he does the set, before he does his closing joke, he remarks on the fact of seeing October 7th that day and being like, but my Don't Tell set.
Oh.
And it was so it's kind of like you had to do something, but it was so brave to do in a taping. I know that.
Yeah, it was
to do. I mean,
a very charged moment.
it was a charged moment, but also like you. I mean, you had to.
I wanted to say something about how like that was like we're at like a turning point in kind of it felt like the world, and because of just what happened to be like that, it was a day that I had to do something that I woke up and saw it, and I was like, oh no, like for me, like
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And it was so smart when you had thought before you went on, like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna reference
No.
this. You're serious.
Yeah,
Really, a full on in the
I'm
moment.
serious. Yeah,
You didn't ask any. You didn't say. You didn't call a friend and go like, "Fuck, dude, do I have to like do a line?"
No, because I didn't talk to anybody that day. It was a very sad day until
Yeah.
the taping, and then like nobody knew what was gonna happen, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna do this joke, and then if I'm just gonna get dead silence from people. But I think people
Absolutely, it could have
Right.
happened.
I was like, I'm just gonna go for it, and then I just kind of think like everybody had been like so on like the edge of their seats that day about like just wondering what was going on, and then I just like I kind of remarked on the issue as it's always been the issue,
Yeah.
just kind of as it's always sort of been in that region of like this is kind of what has been always happening, and then I think like I felt that it went well. Like and like literally in my relief, I kind of had that riff
Yeah.
Yeah,
of like, thank God.
it was so good.
Can I tell you, I was so in my head about having, because I was surprised I was going on that day for.
You riffed
show.
that line in the middle of the second
Shut
act.
up, shut up. But
You
I
said,
was
from the river
so,
to the sea,
I
Broadway will be free.
I shut up. But I was so surprised that I didn't. I was so panicked and looking at my script. I didn't look at the news at all. I didn't know anything had happened until after I had performed. You texted me something about it, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" And I like went on Twitter. I was like, "Oh,
What did I text
no
you?
idea." Oh, I'll tell you later. But you texted me something. But also in the show I was in, there was all these references that then over the next 2 weeks were super weird because it was like a joke of like a joke in the show. It's these two guys putting on a show and it's set in old and German times. And the joke was that it's about Gutenberg, the guy who invented the printing press. Nothing to do with Germany. And
Very silly, though, to be clear. Like,
very silly. But they were like, for this show to be important, we also have to work in some important issues.
Yeah.
And like the Holocaust. And so like it just as a joke. So like a punchline throughout the show.
Just as a joke.
Throughout the show, every once in a while they remind you and they'd have like a little Nazi character come in and be like, I hate Jews.
She was wearing a hat.
And she wore a hat that said, I hate Jews. And so and I'm playing this girl.
The hat said, I hate Jews?
No, sorry. It says little Nazi girl or they changed it.
They
It went
changed it
around
from Nazi girl to anti-Semite?
anti-Semite, yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and actually that was worse. So then they went back to Nazi.
Oh, it's so
It went from Nazi to anti-Semite, and then they were like, actually, anti-Semite is less funny now than Nazi, so they went back to Nazi.
This whole brainstorming is racist.
I know, but no, but it was all, but that whole thing of the show, which was a day before. Everyone laugh at because you're far enough removed from it. Was then now this weird thing, but I didn't feel it when I went in. But
You didn't feel it that day of
that
like
day, not that day, but
hit.
then when I would watch the show that next week, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to make some, and they made some adjustments to make it work. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, yeah.
it really is. I mean,
Go back to little.
Well, I remember thinking in rehearsals because they changed it way before October 7th to anti-Semite, and I was like, I just don't think it'll pop as funny as Nazi because Nazi feels farther away.
You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the Nazi guy. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
You don't want to be fighting for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
guys.
guys, I think we should. Yeah,
I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. I just knew my only experience of like the days after, and still to a degree, but certainly the first 3 months was if I just said, so I'm Jewish, like some audience members be like, woo!
Really?
It was just like, I was like, no. How do
Yeah.
you say no to the woo? No, not that energy though.
Yeah, because it is like yes, but also
It was there was a show, I might have brought it up here, where I did a show in Point Pleasant Beach, and I at some point in the USA, are there any Jews here? Or something, and there were like 2. And it was like an area where there's not a lot of Jews. And
Yeah.
frankly, an area near a Hasidic community where I'm sure this area says horrible things about that Hasidic community. And these 2 Jews came up to me after the show, and it's just the immediacy with which they assumed, we were both hurting right now. And
Yeah.
they were like, I was so scared the whole show that someone was going to scream "Free Palestine." And I wanted to be like, well, I almost did
God.
towards the end.
it's like you were almost like you were right there with them for a second. It's like yeah, of course there's this collective like
Because,
heard
and
about
especially
this
in that
thing, but
space,
then it's like oh
and in that
You're
space,
like, what would have happened to you in that moment? Like, you ultimately would have been at a show and fine. Like, like.
well no.
Oh,
but I think it was that mix of like they were, again, I'm not feeling pity for these people, but it's like in that space they were they were the only Jews there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
probably
yeah.
a community where they might not feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And then but it was in that moment where they saw me and they go, oh, cool. And it's like immediately I that feeling of just being like, no, we're not.
Wait,
It's
which
just-
town was this?
Point Pleasant, I think it's called Point Pleasant Beach, New
Point
Jersey.
Pleasant Beach. It's very funny to be worried about somebody because I imagine there's not a lot of Palestinians there being racist to them.
No. This is like that
I don't
one
think the
person
issue
who
is with
tweeted,
Palestine.
Oh.
Eve Barlow, who's like this, she's a Scottish Jew on
Oh,
Twitter.
yeah.
Who's like
I only know her by her nickname.
Yeah, Eve Fartlow, where she tweeted that like, my friend saw a sign that said free parking and saw it said free Palestine. The Jews are tired.
That's one of the worst tweets of all time.
It's one of the worst
One of the worst
thoughts of
things
one
I've ever
time. It's
seen.
one of the worst human beings of all time. And especially in the arts, because especially with like, you can tell when someone's like using it for clout,
yeah.
and it becomes like just the worst thing.
Well, she was like over in Israel, like going through like the homes of the hostages and being like tweeting at like Damon Albarn from Blur and the Gorillas, being like, Damon, this he had a Gorillas poster in his room. Can you please tweet free the hostages? And it's like you just want Damon Albarn to tweet at you.
Yeah.
Eve Barlow.
Yeah. Eve Barlow.
Yeah.
She's our guest next week
With Deborah Messing.
with Dara Messing. You know what's so funny though? I don't mean this as an attack, because I do the same thing. Whenever we have a guest on that we're not 100% certain of their views on this,
I know.
we dance around. It's just funny.
No, I know.
It's
I
just
know.
funny
Well,
where
it's also
we
You just
have-
don't talk about it, or you
no.
we go.
We were trying to tell a story yesterday or recently,
just feel them out.
and feeling them out in the way of like, but saying it. There's no way to not say it because it came up a few times. But it was not as direct as it should be at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't,
There's times I wimp out, and I look at myself and I go, I'm allowed to wimp out.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
allowed to in a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something I'll tell you off the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, listen, I'm not going full wimp out. I'm not waving the Israeli flag or anything,
Mhm.
but I'm certainly just going, it's wild.
Yeah, there's certain people it's not worth even talking to them about, and there's certain people that it's worth having sort of an argument with them in the backstage of a Just for Laughs show for sort of 10 nights straight.
Oh my God. Did that? But was it like that?
Yeah, kind of.
So she confronted, or it was a discussion?
She would just kind of every night just say something about it,
And
and it
It
was
was so funny. Is your story? It was just a story.
just a story about
It
something
was just
that
a
actually
story
just
about
happened.
something that actually
Yeah.
happened.
And I think at some point she was like, "That no."
Or there was one point, this is so rude, but it was target practice or military drills. There was the argument was made like they weren't doing. You say in the joke target practice.
They were firing missiles at mountains, is the way that my mom tells me the story. And
Yeah,
that's what-
and like
what they
she
were trying
like
to
the
do.
person was trying to distinguish between like that it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know
And
if that matters. If
I
it
know, but that was
destroys your house.
but that was the thing. It was just like okay, what are we talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I mean, the whole thing about this person is that
the drunk driver didn't
is
mean
that
to
they,
kill people.
yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't. That was not his intent.
Sure.
You know, so
Just trying to have fun.
yeah. Just shooting missiles at mountains. Come on, someone's got to do that.
Yeah.
How are we gonna find out?
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
this
God.
person, it's just kind of weird because it's just they wrote a book about how you should be allowed to say whatever you want.
Exactly.
Let's go to our next segment. This has got to stop.
This has got to stop.
This has got to stop. This is a segment where we talk about things that need to stop. Malcolm, I'm so happy you're here. We had such a good time in JFL. It was a joy to spend those weeks with you.
It's great.
Do you have a this has got to stop?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think hair transplants.
Uh-oh. Let's talk.
I think hair
wants it.
transplants
Tell me
in
about a young man with your full head of
the amount that they're as common as they are. I don't think this should be the case. I don't think they should be this common.
Is your suggestion that some men deserve to you or like sorry
Some men deserve hair.
How are we
gets it?
supposed to know who has testosterone? How are we supposed to know? I can't grow a
How are
fucking
we supposed
beard.
to tell the real men?
Yeah, kinda. Not the real. No, that's not how I'm saying it.
I'm not.
Okay, why? Because do you want a hair transplant?
uh
You have hair.
yeah. There's an area I mean I'm doing spray.
You doing spray?
Yeah, I'm doing spray.
Where?
There's
There's a
this
spot.
In the
you know me
crown?
on stage sometimes I lean over and I see it like in the video and I go Jesus fucking Christ. I mean I got these of course.
Yeah.
And then so
sure,
I do the spray here and then it's here. I remember the days I get my hair cut and they go like this. They go, your hair is so thick.
Oh, they still do it to
Your
me.
hair is so thick. And no one has even come close to saying that. I remember the first person I said to them, I said, because they started saying that and then they stopped. And I said to them, this was at Aveda when it was still open. And I said, is my hair been getting thinner? And they were like, no.
She like
No.
drops all of her things.
It's such like a yeah. It's just like an insecure
No,
thing
it's
to
fine.
say. You don't want to. It's like the word. Yeah, you don't want to say that. Yeah, but it is.
I told Tova, I said, will you be honest with me when I need to get the hair transplant? And she said, only if you promise that you won't be mad at me for pointing it out. And I said, I cannot promise that. But I need you to promise me the first part.
I feel stupid because someone else has mentioned this recently. I don't feel like I can tell yet when people have done this.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I know, but I'm saying like
Go.
you're saying you
I
can
can tell. Well, here's the thing. You can't always tell. And so recently, I have like a new friend in my life. We've been friends for like 3 years. You know, this is like the thing you're like make friends like as an adult.
Yeah.
You don't know this person their whole life. You don't know their whole life story. You're coming to them at this moment in their life, and this guy's so handsome and just like so good looking. And I was like, okay. And then he recently like confessed to me that he has had a hair transplant and veneers.
well, veneers.
And this whole time, I'm just thinking this guy's better than me. You know, and
yeah.
he's had all his work done.
But in a way, he could afford that. So he is.
You think that's what it is?
I think that when you start losing your hair, you can pass judgment. It is. I need this
Yeah.
hair.
I mean, no. I mean, we're in an industry, you know.
We are
We live in a
certainly in an
society.
industry. We live in a society, and it is a superficial society.
Well, how much of a hairline do you want? What do you want to? Where do you want to put it?
If I have my
Start
druthers,
here?
it's here, right here.
Right above.
I want to
that.
do the Bieber. I want to be
just
Barbara
eyebrows
Walters.
straight up coming out of the eyebrows.
No, I just want it to look good.
Looks good.
I
It looks
appreciate
great.
But I mean, let me tell you, it's our friend Chris, and the only reason Chris had the Russell would never. I could be bald. I could have a fucking.
Again, I didn't notice when I was with Chris. I
I
didn't
could have
notice
this
it.
thing hanging off the back of my head. Russell wouldn't say anything. So I don't want to rock the boat. But my friend Chris, he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey man, just so you know, and he's not tall enough to see. I was sitting when he saw
You were
it.
kneeling.
But
Why are you taking a shot at him?
He always takes a shot at him. He's
he
not
doesn't
listening.
listen.
Yeah.
So
Took you aside.
yeah, he just took me aside and said like, you should try the spray. and his hair's been looking good too.
Good,
Part of
yeah.
me wonders if he's got the fucking thing and didn't tell anybody.
No.
No, you'd have to.
We would
You
know.
need to spend time away to get that thing done.
Yeah.
You can't get it wet for like an insane amount of time. Really? Oh yeah, I read a whole.
What
GQ
happens? How
article.
do they put it in?
I mean, it's very bloody. It looks gross.
They take hairs from the back of your head and then they push them into the front of your head.
Oh my god!
They have to do it one by one.
I want to do it with just my pubes.
How long
And
did they
it's
put you
just
out?
here.
They
And
put
it's
you
just, like,
out
super curly. Do they put you out?
like
I
sleep?
don't-
No,
To sleep?
no.
You're just awake. It must take hours.
It does. It takes a long time. Yeah.
I don't hear about people complaining about the pain though.
It's just like well, this guy told me in his confession to me. He told me it's like it's just a very uncomfortable for a long period of time.
How long do you have to be then like hidden from the world before you can come out?
It depends on what you're okay with people seeing.
I mean, imagine you have to take off like 2 weeks of stand up to do it.
Longer than that.
longer than that.
He'll never get it.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna have scabs on your head.
Well, I think if I'm a stand-up comic with balls, I'm gonna go out there and be like, "Hey,
You're gonna talk about it.
hey, I love
Maybe
a good
that's
a
where-
good opening joke. I know what
would-
you're thinking.
I would.
What's these pubes coming off this guy's forehead? Killer opener.
That's good.
Killer.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I want to see. I want to see the set. You're fresh back
You know
from
what the problem
Istanbul
is?
set.
Too many people have been doing it. What's funny is this is becoming the new 40-year-old comics. Like Mateo, I'm pretty sure Mateo has a whole special about it,
About his hair?
about getting hair transplant.
Really?
Yeah.
His looks amazing. But
Well, that's good. It's only going to get better as it goes on. So by the time you really need it, it's probably going to be even
yeah.
better. Probably less time. Probably quicker.
the technology is getting better. I will say that. It used to be like more taboo and it was like scarier. It used to be like BBL.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hair transplant used to be BBL.
Yeah.
Now it's boob job. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
I can't
kinda-
stand it. I remember when like Nicki Minaj was like, I didn't get a BBL, and it's like, well, we're looking at these pictures, and then what happened?
And
here?
we're looking hard.
we're looking.
We are looking at these pictures.
I would support you if you got a hair transplant.
What if
I mean,
I
I
got
know you're.
what if I got a BBL as a bit? I know what you're thinking.
I know what you're thinking.
You have this got to stop.
Yeah. Okay. This has got to stop. New York City public schools. You gotta get buses. No, you gotta get buses for these kids on field trips. We cannot have these kids on the subways. They're coming in 30, 40 kids onto one subway car. It's chaos. They're bullying me. They're bullying everyone around them, and it's just. I don't understand how when we grew up, I went to public schools. They gave buses and they took us places. Why is there so many kids getting on field trips or going places with the school? I don't understand. And it's happened 2 times in the last week.
You know who could put an end to these kids on these subways?
What?
That guy punching all the people.
Yeah.
Boom, 30 kids at a time.
No.
Just running a clothesline just through the whole.
That's mine.
That was a good one. Mine. Let's see. I got a couple here. Oh, I don't want to do that one. That
It says
sad.
Israel. Unfollow.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Someone wrote me and they said, "Did you unfollow me?"
Oh.
And I did.
Awesome.
I did.
It's awesome.
Was it who?
Somebody was
Tell me
posting
later.
a lot of.
Fuck.
But
It was somebody who was posting a lot of Zionist
comic?
materials.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
No, but it was someone we had a nice relationship with, and I was
Mm-hmm.
generous in my reply. I was not like, yeah, I fucking did this. I did. I was impassioned in this moment and blah blah blah. But and someone just told me, they were like, you got to mute them. Don't unfollow. They'll notice. And I
No, but sometimes you unfollow because you want them to know a little bit.
And also, I would say something.
Sure.
There's a certain kind of thing when you see a certain stamina of posts of things where you're like, oh, actually, I'm not interested in knowing this person that much more. Like for how like with certain things and certain kind of like where it feels like, oh, like I don't want to like they're very much championing something that is awful in a way.
Yeah.
Specifically, I can think of the handful of people that I have unfollowed where you're like, oh, this is like very bloodthirsty and weird. I'm gonna, I don't want to ultimately.
Weird social contract, like a fake social contract of like following someone on Instagram that it means all this thing. Like a lot of the time when you follow someone on Instagram, it's like you've met them like for 30 minutes once.
Yeah.
Like you don't like whatever. Honestly.
Yeah.
yeah, ultimately it's just it's so many different. it's also like for me, it's my business platform thing.
Yeah.
But I just think, even if someone posts a lot about Israel or a lot of crowdwork clips, you should be generous. And, there's more to them than those crowdwork clips. I'm just using this as a transition to play this thing.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw this. I posted it. I just wanted to play it. This is the first piece of, we got it here? This was the first piece of branded.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this?
No.
Good. I'm glad. So there's a company that posted. It appears to be a crowdwork clip. It's at a real comedy club, the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins, Colorado, which I will be performing at later this year. We haven't announced it yet, but I want to play. This is here we go. Oh, say something quick.
Hello.
Come on.
What?
You're brilliant.
I just found out that I had 27 subscriptions.
I know what it's for.
It's like finding out that you had 27 kids you did not know about. Yes, Rocket Money. Yes, that was what did it. Yeah, it's like it laid out all my subscriptions for me like a rap sheet of bad decisions.
There's more.
2 Netflix accounts. Yeah, I had 2 Fubo accounts. How much money you save?
Save me $700.
$700. Damn, can I hold 20? It only saved me like 300. No, but in all seriousness, if you guys want to save some money, download Rocket Money. Maybe cover the drinks.
Wow.
Crazy.
Who's Rocket Money?
Yeah. No, I don't think that comedian's a real comedian because no one tagged him. And if it was a real comedian, he'd be getting roasted.
Never
Yeah.
be allowed.
Live.
in any-
Yeah.
Never be allowed.
No, that's really bad of that company to have done that. That's a very bad.
But are they banking on that? But everyone's talking about it, and that doesn't matter. Like that. I've never heard Rocket Money
It's-
before, and now I have.
Yeah, I guess so. They're trying to. They're using stand up as just like a canvas.
Yeah.
But completely disrespecting it.
But here's what's so funny is we recently had Lucas Zelnick not that long ago, and he did Dr. Squatch. They did a
Yes.
taping,
Yes.
and it's that was more authentic to stand up, but it
Yeah.
still is like, to me, honestly, it's chaotic and it's a crazy bet that they made to have people do jokes about soap, and it feels a little icky. But that was more true to
There was some tongue in
stand-up.
cheekness to that. There wasn't this like
This
This is crazy.
What's so funny? This guy, he does like, you know how Louis, sometimes he would lean and he'd like do he'd do this face sometimes in his stand up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he does it like for every single line. He goes like, I had 27 subscriptions. Mine 2 for Fubu.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like 27 kids that you didn't know you had.
I do fucking Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
Just doing a full.
Louis impression.
It'd be funny if they did it, but it was like then from that he went to, so I was titty fucking this.
Yeah.
Let's go to our final segment.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessings. Russ, you got something you're thankful for?
Yeah. There's a lot of things wrong with America right now. But
brave
something I
of
am
you to say.
thankful for is that we don't have a king or queen. It's just anytime I think for more than 2 seconds about having a king or queen, it's so crazy. It's so crazy that people still have kings and queens, and then you also have a prime minister. Like, what is going on? Like, you have both. I was just thinking, like, for some reason it drives me nuts, like that they still exist. And I think if they either committed to like really being a king and queen and like ruling everything, and having to wear like the costume still, because I don't like that they wear like suits and stuff.
Sure.
No.
Like, I think you should have to wear like a throne,
Put that
and the
stupid shit
crown,
on.
put that dumb shit on, and wear it all the time.
Roll your R's.
Be on horses.
Cancer.
Get a court jester.
Yeah.
Get like if you're gonna be king queen,
Put on a show.
Put on a show.
Yeah,
The whole thing is
show. What are we
pageantry
paying
anyway.
The
for?
whole thing is
Yeah.
pageantry. Put on a show for us if you're going
Hold
to
a
do
golden
it.
chalice.
Don't a video of you holding grocery bags. I don't care. You're
No.
just like
Don't
us.
don't show me that.
No.
Don't.
No, because you
No.
know you're lying, and now it feels like you're making fun of us. Like
I know.
we hold bags too.
Oh, we've been to market. No, you haven't. So, anyways, I'm thankful we don't have one because it would drive me nuts.
But imagine Biden wearing all that stupid shit. Wouldn't that be kind of fun if you had the big fucking hat on?
no, I
He'd
think
fall over. It'd be
That's
very
what I'm
sad.
saying. If he had the big long like fur like tarp or whatever that they wear, and then he was like tripping, he was like trying to get on Air Force One and just he got like wrapped up in it.
Oh my God. To be honest, though, whatever Trump decided to do with that outfit would be funny to see.
yeah, that would
Just
be funny.
gold.
Look
Couldn't
so-
move.
Look good.
He'd look cool.
Oh, he'd just he would just wear Trump would just wear a suit of armor all the time.
He
He'd
would.
be that king.
Yeah,
Gold suit of armor.
just his head out,
yeah.
no helmet.
We stupidly we talked about the we talked about the princess. She's a princess, right?
Yeah,
Right. Even saying it, like, because without the accoutrement, I'm like, that seems a weird.
yeah.
Say. We talked about the princess on the podcast that we recorded.
Oh,
just
early.
came out today.
Yeah.
And we were not without the cancer diagnosis
Yeah.
in mind. But also, there were all these articles like, well, it's a shame on us for our. And I'm like, no,
Shut
it's
up.
not. It's
You've been
not a
pumping-
shame on us
you've
for
been
like
pumping
for
us all
conspiracy
the-
theorists. You did a bunch of weird press PR,
Yeah.
and you know what? Yeah, you should have just fucking said it.
For years, the UK their press over there has been propping them up and putting out bullshit. So whatever, shut the fuck up. Anyways, I'm sick of the royal family.
Also, like there was like two famous people who like right before the cancer diagnosis were like made a big stink about like you guys we should probably leave them alone. And I'm like, I fucking know.
I know.
I fucking know.
I know.
You got intel that the person has cancer, and
know.
right in the nick of
You
time.
know, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
in
you
the
got to be the
nick
good
of
person.
time,
you know who you're
gonna-
saying. It's what's
Oh
his name?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
he's guilty of it, and
He
someone needs
is-
to tell him.
Oh,
Someone
you know
needs to
what?
say-
And he's like, we shouldn't do this. I was like, you shouldn't wear blackface, sir. Okay. Because it wasn't Justin Trudeau, but it was another person who wore blackface telling us what right and wrong is. Shut the fuck up, man. Like,
You really got to let it go. If you have those, listen. If you have a picture of you in blackface, you don't get to be.
You don't get to be the
to
moral
go,
authority on
shame
anyone,
you. It's
okay?
done. And that applies to, frankly, like 20 people off the top of my head. I mean, truly. You know who came to mind?
ooh. Oh yeah. Oh wait,
So-
did she say something too?
Can we keep a
She
tally?
always does.
of
What?
all the
There's a
things
few
I wanna
things we have
ask?
to
I
say
want to talk
afterwards. Yeah,
about
yeah,
after the
no, I know.
pod. I need
We have to say the names afterwards.
Yeah, after every podcast, we go, okay, so
Okay, here's
what you're
the things
talking
we-
about.
here's the real
here,
podcast.
here.
Yeah.
Here's a real podcast.
The Patreon. If we put that on the Patreon, we'd be fucking rich. My blessing is that's that sweater that you got, Tova.
Yes.
That we both wore. I felt bad on. So he got this sweater for Tova, Miami Boys Choir, and then I felt bad because like I wore it and you saw me wearing it like before you saw her wearing it, and I thought like it was rude of me to
I
be
didn't
like,
need-
hey, the gift
I didn't
you
need
got.
Tova to like demonstrate it for me, you know.
But it just
She
felt
walked
like,
it out on
hey,
Gianmarco.
hey, the gift you got, Tova, it's mine now.
Yeah.
And I felt guilty, but ultimately we both wear it.
No, it makes me feel good that you both wear it.
Tova and I, we talked about it. We're like, we wear a lot of each other's clothes.
Yeah.
And I don't think other couples do it quite like us. But someone came up to Tova during a Purim,
Mm-hmm.
and she was wearing the sweater and said, "Oh my God, where'd you get this sweater? I saw this comedian. I really like wear the sweater too."
Oh, that's so funny.
And she was like, "I'm fucking him." And he was like,
Right
"Whoa,
now.
right now,
Right now."
And I was there too, and I was like, "Baby."
Easy.
Jesus Christ.
Really is a shame that we're in the same industry because I could just so it's a beautiful sweater.
Yeah.
It's such a cool, thoughtful gift, and that's the reason people pointed out
Oh,
because it's such a
good.
nice gift.
Well, I'm
And
glad.
it's such a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
Do you? And I'm sure every member of that group is the biggest Zionist you've ever met in your entire life.
Wait, of the sweater?
Not the sweater, the Miami Boys Choir. It's like it's a group. It's like a young IDF. Do you have a blessing?
What?
No, it's a choir group.
Okay, because I was gonna say the IDF is already pretty young. This is like they're gonna be like babies at this point.
They're 12, 13, and Tova saw them and said it was like It's
Oh wait, okay, yeah,
they went viral on TikTok
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a little
yeah.
because they have
Yeah.
a cool song.
I saw this. I saw.
But it's like the shows are like a bunch of 12-year-olds like dancing, and then like the first Jew in the whole world, he knew Moses, and he's in the middle, like kind of conducting them as they all dance around. It's a very unique thing.
That is okay. Yeah, that's nuts.
Can you imagine the Miami Boys choir like became really pro-Palestinian? Like that was the big
They're
shifting
donating the
point.
proceeds of the show,
yeah.
but they only say it after.
Only at the
Oh,
end.
after, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on, Miami Boys. What's your blessing?
My blessing. I think I'm Ramadan. Ramadan right now. It's been
Sure,
it's
that's a
been
lot of guests.
Yeah. What?
That's their blessing.
That's the. Oh yeah. Is it?
No.
Oh. I don't know. You have it. You guys said yeah. This smile on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one other. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been. I don't even know how many days into it we are right now, but it's just been like so. It's been actually like fun. It's been cool. It's been like nice to have this as like since I've gotten to New York, like kind of have this thing that I've always done, but like never done here, like on my own, and just like kind of with like a newer community here that I know, just like using that as like a way to get like I feel like I'm more acquainted with New York, for having gone through going through Ramadan right now. Yeah.
Does it involve like have you go to a mosque and like do a ceremony?
Yeah, well, you break fast with people, and I'm like eating with friends, like when it's time, and then like at night you just pray through the night.
Sure,
that's just what it is. You go to nighttime prayers, and just like a very, just like the time is very appreciated. It's a very still time at night, and there's just so many people around. You can tell everybody's going through the same thing. It's a very nice time of the year, and I'm happy it's happening right now.
Hell yeah. Oh, this is coming out. Well, I wrote it down here. We almost got this calendar right behind Russell. What day is this coming out? This is coming out on April 16th.
Damn.
What?
I have a show in Toronto, April 13th. But it's okay.
Well, I hope it was a good show.
I hope it was a good show.
Any other shows after that? Or are you done?
No, I'll be retiring from stand up after that. I'll be on to different things.
Where is it in Toronto?
The Winter Garden Theater. If you were
How many
there,
seats is that?
thank you. 1,000.
Wow.
Just you're headlining?
2 shows. I'm co-headlining with my friend Hassan.
Nice.
We're doing 2 shows
You can
there.
push that many tickets. That's impressive.
Yeah, we'll see.
Holy
We'll see if we can push that many tickets. First show sold out. We were trying to sell a second show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Wow.
How big were the theaters you did with Roy Wood in that Canada tour?
Some of them were like 3,500.
Jesus.
Some of them, yeah.
And they were like sold out?
a lot of them were sold out. Yeah,
Damn.
it's crazy.
I'm sure that was fun.
It was amazing.
Do you spend a lot of time with Roy? Like, was he chilling?
He was around. Yeah, he was in there. We were in the tour bus. He would always be in the back of the tour bus, just like hand out like advice. Like he just always have like the craziest story
Yeah,
about something. He'd just say like sort of an innocuous thing, and then he'd have like a tale about it. You know?
I saw way back. I was doing at West Side Comedy Club. Talk about a club that blocked me on Instagram.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
I was
West
proud of that.
Side
Refused
Comedy
to
Club.
yeah.
And I just remember once there was a daily show, stand-up show, and I was just hosting. But Roy, like the moment this guy's set was over, like took outside and like was like, "Hey, this is a cool thing. Here's a tag." Like he just dials.
He
it.
so
dials
still
it.
loves stand up. It's so cool. He's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Roy Jr. Do you have anything you want to plug?
April 16th. 12 more days of Titanic off Broadway. That ends April 28th for me. And then Friday, May 3rd, we will both be in LA for Netflix's joke, Uncle Function, 9:45 p.m. at the West Side or West, what is it? West something.
Jesus
Comedy
Christ.
Club.
Well, let's do it in order.
Yeah, okay.
Chronological.
Come see our live taping
With
with
Moshe Kasher.
Moshe Kasher.
Book we got.
Friday, May 3rd at the Comedy Store at 7 p.m. And then Uncle Function will have a show after that at 9:45 p.m. elsewhere.
And then for me, I'm going to be the Nashville Comedy Festival this Friday and Saturday. One show Friday, one show Saturday, and Jeffrey Asmus is the comic after me. So
Right.
please come support, because once I see his set, I will feel bad about myself. And then, check out that May 3rd Downside Live, because it's going to sell out, baby. And
Uncle Function.
And Uncle Function. Yeah, you just said it.
I know. I'm just having you reiterate it.
Okay, yes, I
We'll
support.
both be there.
Uncle Function's gonna be sold out in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, go see. Next time I book Malik on The Silver Lining, be sure you come to that because we are getting deep into the thicket.
A provincial comedy.
This is The Downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside. You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.